Hi, welcome to episode 1 of Discover Angling. I'm your host, Pat, and on today's episode, what I'm doing is a product review and field test of a new lure that I've discovered recently. It was a couple months ago. I discovered this lure on Instagram through an advertisement, and I discovered it, bought it. I thought it looked great, and I've taken it out to the water, put it to the test, and it has performed very well. So what I'm going to do is go over the bait itself, some of its features, some of the things that I like about it, and how it can be used. And then in the second part of the video, there's going to be, some clips of me actually out there catching fish with it. So without any further delay, the bait is this. It's by a company called Geecrack USA. It's actually a Japanese company, but they've begun selling their products here. The product is called the Bellows Gill. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go over the packaging and what it looks like. Here's the packaging. It's pretty big. It's probably about 9 or 10 inches wide, maybe 8 inches wide, 6 inches tall. There's 5 per pack. I think you could probably identify them by their orange color of packaging. But there's 5 per pack. As you can see, I'm down to 1 here. They come in these kind of little plastic compartments or carriers or whatever they're called. But here it is. Have a look at that thing. So if this is your first time seeing this bait, you're probably thinking it looks pretty extraterrestrial. It looks pretty weird, pretty unique. It is, in a lot of senses, both in its shape and its performance, and honestly, its smell. This is a scented bait, and let me tell you something. If you're looking for a strong scent, you've got it here. This is definitely a very pungent, very pungent bait. Smells kind of like somebody took popcorn and dipped it in vinegar and then burnt the hell out of it in a microwave at work and then put some garlic on it. So the first way that I rigged it, that I threw it, that you'll see in the video, is I put it on the back of an old favorite of mine, the 3/8 Strike King swim jig. So this is I think this color is called Electric Shad or Smoke Shad or something like that. It's the shad color. There's not a lot of shad colored variations of this bait, but basically you just rig it on there kind of like you would any other trailer. Thread it on there. It's got a little bait grabber type of thing on the hook. I put the dark side of the bait on the top side to kind of match what a shad naturally looks like in the water, because with shad they've got kind of a dark back and lighter underbelly. Now, I know this thing's called the Bellows Gill, but this particular color is kind of a little bit more shad colored. They do come in a lot of different colors. There's all your classics. There's white, chartreuse, green pumpkin. I think there's a blue one. Anyway, this is kind of the more shad colored one. And forgive me, I don't know the exact name of the color off the top of my head. It's somewhere on this packaging, but honestly, I can't find it right now. Anyway, so here you go. What you've got is a very, very, very textured bait. You get all the ribs of the gill itself. You've got the skirt of the swim jig. Tons of texture here, tons of water displacement, tons of very natural, subtle action. So this type of a thing is not a very noisy presentation. It's not like a chatterbait or a spin bait, something that makes a lot of noise. But quite frankly, it doesn't really need to. Now, there's a time and a place for noisy baits, don't get me wrong, but I took this out and fished it in what would traditionally be considered spinnerbait conditions. It was overcast, windy. I did great, or just as good as I would have on a spinnerbait. So there you have it. There's a great way to rig this thing up. As you see from the front, it's got a flatter profile. You see it's kind of flat and it's narrow. It's kind of like your hand. What this does is it slows down the fall. When you cast it, it's going to fall a lot slower than a thinner trailer would, or the jig just by itself. So it slows down the fall, and as it falls, those ribs catch the water, so it actually wiggles quite a bit on the fall. It's quite common. I think a lot of people have caught a lot of fish on the fall of the bait. This is the kind of bait that's going to get you that kind of a strike. So a lot of people are used to putting trailers on their swim jigs, spinner baits, chatterbaits, even just regular jigs. And you might be wondering, well, how does this stack up next to a more traditional trailer, like say for example this 5-inch Kalin's Grub, or this 3.8-inch Kitech Fat Impact Swing Impact? The answer is just as good, if not better, especially under the right conditions. So as a trailer, it performs very, very well, and you'll see in the video coming up that it definitely does produce results. The other way is you can Texas rig it, which you'll see in the video coming up. I suppose if you can Texas rig it, you can definitely Carolina rig it too. And if you're really ambitious, if you got a big enough hook, you could probably drop shot this thing. I know the 2.8-inch version is advertised as a good drop shot, or even a Ned bait. This one, yeah, you could probably find a Ned big enough to put it on there, but I don't know if it would be my first choice. But really, there's just about nothing that you can't do with it. So stay tuned for the video. Hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully it makes a case for the fact that this bait does produce. Just for a little bit of reference, total filming times maybe a few hours, if that. I didn't get a whole heck of a lot of time to go out there and record this thing, so in the amount of time that I spent fishing, it was just as good, if not better, than any other bait that I'm used to throwing. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Alright, we got the swim jig with the Geecrack Bellows Gill on it. It's like in a shad color. I can get out here and wait a little bit and give it a shot. Fish on. He's way the hell out there. It's a largemouth. Here he comes. Nice little spring largemouth. All right. Oop. There he is. Got him on the Strike King swim jig with the Bellows Gill trailer. There he goes. Nothing huge, but fun nonetheless. Goodbye, buddy. Off to the briny, deepy swims. Fish on. A little better largemouth this time. A little better. A little better. We'll take him. Ooh. There he is. Another guy on that swim jig with the Bellows Gills by Geecrack USA. Come on, buddy. Give it back. There he is. Nice little spring largemouth. There he goes. I'm just throwing this thing out there and kind of swimming it, jigging it. That time I was jerking it and then pausing it. It has a pretty slow sink rate. You throw it in, it doesn't really plummet to the bottom. It kind of flutters down. So it could be what made the difference on that bite. I'll try that method going forward. Fish on. That's it. You ain't getting away this time. Ain't no way. Come on in. Boy, I really would hope that I don't lose 3 in a row. I guess anything's possible. Get out of there. Don't you jump. Stay down, buddy. Here he comes. Stay down. You stay down. There's a good one. There's a good one. Whoa, he's not hooked very well. He's not hooked very well. Please stay hooked. Thank you. Yes. Woohoo! Look at that. That's what we wanted. Oh, nice. That's a good one. All right, lost 2 big ones in a row. All I want is another shot. Just give me another shot. All right, time to let him go. He's got a fat pot belly on him too. Must be a female, or it's just a male with a big belly. There goes the bass. All right. First thing on the menu is the Bellows Gill, rigged Texas style. Not quite sure about my hook size selection. I guess the results will soon be in, but I think this is going to do it. Take a look at that thing. Pretty cool. Nice little largemouth on the Bellows Gill, Texas rigged. It worked out. Oh, here he is. There he is, another bass on the Bellows Gill. Getting it done today. Nice little guy. Nothing big, but fun. There he goes. Oh, look. He flung my gill away.